Jan here again. Today's talk is about whale meat. I've been reading a book written by Marguerite Patten called Post-War Kitchen, 1945 to 1954. Marguerite worked for the Ministry of Food during World War II. She developed recipes helping families to prepare nutritious and appetizing dishes with their meagre weekly rations. Marguerite Patten became a famous cookery writer with over 160 books to her credit. When food shortages were particularly severe, the government encouraged people to supplement their diet with whale meat, which was off ration. Nowadays, we would be horrified at the thought of eating these magnificent creatures. It was sold in fish shops. This is how Marguerite Patten described it. It looked like a cross between liver and beef with a firm texture. Because the raw meat had a strong and very unpleasant smell of fish and stale oil, I loathed handling the whale meat to create recipes or to use in my demonstrations to the public. When people were interviewed about their memories of eating whale, they described it as very much like eating beef, but with a strong aftertaste of cod liver oil. Corned whale meat was available under the name of whacon. It was almost identical to corned beef, but brown instead of red. The Ministry of Food's Food and Nutrition booklet for September 1947 included advice on preparing and cooking whale meat. And I quote, "Tests were made in our experimental kitchens using the best cuts of whale meat, which was bought in its frozen state, thawed out slowly, and treated as ordinary beefsteak. It was found that although the raw meat looked somewhat unattractive and is not very satisfactory grilled or cooked as a joint, most people cannot distinguish it from beefsteak when it is finely cut before cooking or mixed with strong flavours." I have in front of me a recipe for Hungarian goulash. It suggests mixing two meats together in true Hungarian style. For example, boned neck of lamb, and yes, you've guessed it, mixed with whale meat. My college cookery book has a section on whale meat and says, "It would appear advisable when cooking whale meat to combine with it some ingredient which is of strong flavour. Serve plenty of well-flavoured gravy." It gives a recipe for hamburgers where the whale meat has to be minced 3 times. And a recipe for curry where the whale meat has to be washed first in vinegar and water. Researching this topic really made me think and feel grateful to our farmers, growers, fishermen, pickers, packers and processors, delivery people and shop workers who truly are on the front line. And not forgetting the people who keep the utilities and broadband up and running. And our younger family members and kindly neighbours who fetch the shopping while we older ones are in lockdown. Thank you. I used to know someone who worked with Marguerite Patten as a home economist.
Really?
Yes, she was a member of RWI. She died years ago, but I remember her telling us how, in the early years of the war, she worked as a cook in a hospital kitchen in London. And they were given a dead swan. It was, of course, intended for the private patients. Anyway, she plucked it, drew it, larded it, and cooked it, and cooked it, and it was still as tough as old boots.
Oh, my goodness.
Eventually, she decided to mince it, and it was still tough.
Oh,
I think it must have been a very old swan.
I think so.
In the end, nobody managed to eat any of it. She was an amazing lady. I wish I'd got to know her better. She worked in the hospital by day, and then during the Blitz, she drove ambulances at night, rescuing people who'd been injured. What a brave woman she was.